Sorry, Braidzooks here, and welcome back to the Elysian Battle League Week 2. If you'd like to skip right to the battle, click the annotation on screen now, and if you want to see what mons I'm bringing this week, then stay tuned. So looking at our opponent's team, we are facing Jack and the LA Galvantulas. They have a roster of Zygarde 50%, Skarmory, Primarina, Torrent Greninja, Silvally, any type, Hitmonlee, Snorlax, Thunderous Eye, Celebi as the Z Crystal holding mon, Pyroar, and Kecleon. Looking at my team compared to his, I do have some troubles breaking through Skarmory plus Snorlax. I do have a plan to be able to deal with it. Specs Primarina puts hurt on my team if he's running that, and Celebi as a Z-Mon, or just Celebi in general, has the potential to get quite a lot of kills, so I had to keep all those things in mind when building. Looking at our first Mon, I have the Rotom Heat, running mainly specially defensive, although this is primarily going to be taking on the Skarmory with Thunderbolt, Overheat, Volt Switch. It doesn't like those things. Will-O-Wisp to deal with physical bonds, so we can be both specially and physically defensive if we hit Will-O-Wisps. This is mainly a switch in for Celebi as well, because there's not much Celebi can do to hit me. It can definitely do damage, but not too much. We have enough speed to outspeed a timid Specs Primarina, so if he does run that, I do have a way to deal with it if I preserve my Rotom Heat, running the leftovers just for longevity. Next up, I have Mega Venusaur running a primarily physically defensive set. This is so things like the Hitmonlee, potentially a Silvally, Zygarde can't get too out of control. I am also running the Leech Seed to stop potential setup mons, so I can wear them down each turn and get HP back. Running the Hidden Power Ice to hit the Zygarde and also the Thundurus potentially. Although the Thundurus probably does a lot to us with the Hidden Power Flying since I'm not running that much special defense. Giga Drain Synthesis just to heal myself and do some damage. So yeah, the goal of this Venusaur is to sit on the field against those physical attackers and try not to let them set up. Next up, I'm running a also physically defensive Melodic to again stop setup with the Haze, Ice Beam for things like the Zygarde and potentially again the Thundurus, although that's not my main concern. Running Scald just because it's, you know, it's nice, it can get burns on things, and Recover to increase our longevity. Again, not running too much special defense on this mon just because its base special defense is already pretty high and it's not really taking the Z moves from the Celebi anyways, but it can switch into things like the Pyroar and whatnot. Next up, I have my Swallow. I'm running enough speed to outspeed everything on his team, barring like certain choice scarfers, but granted, if things aren't scarfed, I outspeed everything. The only thing I really have to worry about is a potential Prankster T-Wave from the Thunderous Eye. The main goal here is Boom Burst to hit mons behind substitutes, Heat Wave to hit things like the Skarmory, HP Ice to hit things like the Greninja, or sorry, not the Greninja, the Zygarde, and then U-Turn just to switch out if I need to. I'm running Scrappy in case he has like a potential Ghost move on Kecleon or Ghost Silvally, so I can hit everything on his team with Boom Burst, and I don't really need the Guts ability anyways. Hasty Nature because I do have the U-Turn as well, and I don't want to be losing damage on that. Next up, I have Donphan, running a very interesting set this week. I'm running max attack, max HP, just so I can do tons of damage with Ice Shard, as well as potentially, you know, scaring certain mons out and then going for like a knockoff, doing as much damage as I possibly can. Sturdy ability to potentially, you know, live a setup hit and then hit back with priority. Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards coming from his side of the field. And yeah, hopefully this set will work. It's a weird one, but you know, I can hit things like Celebi with an Ice Shard, hit things like Thundurus. I don't know how the Donphan is gonna work out. I did want to run Rocks, but at the same time, I felt that this set might work better. Might bite me in the butt, but there really isn't much on his team that takes a lot of damage from Rocks, except for the Thundurus and the Pyroar, which I'm not too worried about either of those, as I do have checks for them. My final one is a very weird set on the Pangoro. I'm running Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Knockoff, Bullet Punch with a Lumberry. So the plan here is if he starts setting up a Snorlax, I'm going to set up alongside with Bulk Up, and I 1v1 any possible Snorlax. The only issue is, you know, he can OHKO me with things like the Primarina, he can OHKO me with the Celebi, which is why I'm running the Bullet Punch. So in a hypothetical situation where I set up alongside the Snorlax, I knock off its item, I bulk up alongside it, he goes for Body Slams, activates my Lumberry if he paralyzes me, I eventually knock the Snorlax out with a Drain Punch, then I can, if I get set up enough, I can get some kills with Bullet Punch if they're worn down. Like, if I'm at +2, +3, things are not wanting to take that much damage from Bullet Punch. I don't remember exactly the speed investment, what it was for, but it outspeeds something, so I can potentially hit it. I think the Skarmory. Yeah, it's to outspeed a certain, like, if he tried to speed creep me a little bit, it outspeeds that. And also I think the Kecleon, like a max speed Kecleon, it might also outspeed. I don't fully remember, but the plan is set up, maybe get some kills with Bullet Punch. This mon is not supposed to be a sweeper, just primarily a check to the Snorlax. So yeah, I am going to have the battle soon, and we will see if my team works. Alright, so moving right along to the battle, we can see that he brought the Celebi, Silvally, Snorlax, Greninja, Thundurus, Incarnate, and the Skarmory. So I'm thinking about leads, and I'm thinking, you know, Swallow pretty much outspeeds everything on his team, barring, you know, maybe a Choice Scarf Celebi, maybe like a Prankster T-Wave Thundurus. I don't want to take that. I do outspeed the Greninja if he's not Choice Scarf, so, you know, I'm thinking Swallow's a pretty good lead. I can either hit something hard with a Boom Burst, or I can U-turn on out of there. Starting the replay, he leads with his Skarmory. Now, I did think that this might happen, and I decided to go for the safe Heat Wave, just in case he decided to stay in. He goes into a Snorlax, showing me that that is his switch-in as I go into the U-turn, as he goes back into the Skarmory. Now this allows me to go into my Rotom Heat for free and pretty much just click Will-O-Wisp here. I can either click Will-O-Wisp or I can click Volt Switch. I did decide to go for the Will-O-Wisp as he goes into the Snorlax and I get the burn on it. This is going to be very crucial as it's going to allow me to wear down the Snorlax. He has revealed that he does not have the leftovers, so I'm wondering, you know, maybe he has a berry, maybe he's not Lumberry, maybe he's like Chesto Resto. I decided to go for the knockoff, see what item it has, but instead he switches in his Skarmory as I get rid of its leftovers, and then he gets up the rocks. I go into my Rotom on his rocks, allowing me to Volt Switch as he goes back into the Snorlax, and then he reveals that he has the Figgy Berry, which he eats up at 50% health, bringing him back to full. I can go back into my Pangoro now that he is in his Snorlax, and I do have the capability of 1v1ing, but then he goes into his Silvally, revealing that he is the Silvally Flying, so I switch in my Donphan as it's a relatively safe switch in here. And I just try to, I believe, Rapid Spin away the rocks, which I do as he parting shots his way into a Celebi. Now, I would go for, like, an Ice Shard or a knockoff here, but he did lower my attacks, so I decided to go into my Special Wall Rotom, as he hits me with a Psychic and then a Continental Crush. I did EV this thing to take a very safe amount of damage from a Continental Crush, and luckily that ended up being the case as I get basically a free Volt Switch into my Swallow. He brings in the Snorlax. I predicted that, went for a U-turn. Even if he stayed in, U-turn would have been doing big damage to the Celebi as I go into my Venusaur so I can get the Leech Seed on this thing and start wearing it down even further with the burn. He reveals the Recycle and gets back his Figgy Berry, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go in my Donphan and knock off the Figgy Berry, but instead, yep, he loses enough HP so that he eats it up again, and he goes into his Skarmory. Now, this is a very interesting turn of events. I go for the knockoff anyways just to see what he would do, and here I'm thinking, okay, I need to catch him on his roost and hit him with an Earthquake. So I just go for Rapid Spin, get rid of the rocks, and now I'm just going to click knock off a bunch of times because this is going to be my best move to hit the Skarmory with. He's wearing himself down with a Brave Bird. He no longer has the leftovers recovery. His only way of recovering is Roost, but he has to be very careful when roosting because I can hit him with an Earthquake as he loses the flying typing. So here he's just going to continue wearing himself down with the Brave Bird. I'm going to continue going for the knockoff, and I have a pretty good idea of when he's going to roost now as he has roosted 2 times already. So I'm predicting him to roost here, and he does as I go for the Earthquake. Now I'm in a position where I can just continue to click Earthquake. If he decides to go for rocks, nothing will happen. If he decides to Brave Bird, he's going to be wearing himself down. If he decides to switch, I'm fine with that too. I think his play here should have been to switch. I do not think that he should stay in with his Skarmory, because he is going to wear himself down. He is going to try to roost there as I hit him with an Earthquake. And then after this Brave Bird damage, he's now in a minimum Ice Shard range, because I am running max attack on my Donphan with, I believe, a Careful Nature. And then I do knock out the Skarmory. I don't think he should have done that. Now, I do misplay here by going into my Melodic. I should have predicted that he would go for a Grass Knot, which he does, and I do pretty much lose my Melodic because of that, which honestly is fine, because I don't really need the Melodic. It would have helped with things like the Silvally and maybe even potentially sponging like one hit from a Thundurus, but depending on spread, of course. But here I'm just going to go in my Swallow, and this is where I make a huge mistake. So right there, I U-turn, and the play is I go on my Donphan, and I Rapid Spin the rocks away. Now, that is what I intended to do, and I accidentally misclicked Pangoro. If you don't believe me, if you don't think I actually misclicked Pangoro, if you watch the replay, right as I did that in the chat, I was freaking out because I misclicked. Like, this was 1,000,000% a misclick. This isn't me just saying, oh, I misclicked, blah, blah, blah. I'll even link the replay in the description if I remember. But I totally messed up here big time, because had I clicked Donphan, which was the intention, I would have spun away the rocks, and then my Swallow would not be taking 25% on entry. My Rotom could actually switch into the field without dying instantly to rocks. And Swallow, at this point in the game, kills everything except the Snorlax. Snorlax gets 2-hit KO once he gets a little bit more damage on him. But at this point in the game, Swallow outspeeds and kills Thundurus. It outspeeds and kills the Greninja. He did reveal that he didn't reveal it, but I believe he told me that he did not have the Water Shuriken. If he did, I would have scouted around Water Shuriken anyways, but hypothetically, if he doesn't have Water Shuriken and he doesn't have Prankster T-Wave, Swallow kills the Silvally, it kills the Celebi, it kills the Greninja, it kills the Thundurus with a little bit prior damage, which I would have ended up getting, and it kills the Snorlax with the 2-hit KO after prior damage. But because I misclicked, there are still rocks on the field. Now I pretty much have to bulk up here, predicting him to go into this thing. Now, my play here probably should have been knockoff, or I should have gone into the Donphan to get rid of the rocks, although I don't remember if I take a multi-attack and rocks damage, but now I pretty much have to go into Venusaur. I believe I go for, yeah, a Leech Seed here so I can start getting some recovery. I live another one. Now, I wanted to double Leech Seed here, I really did, but I couldn't risk him going into Celebi, so I had the Synthesis to get my health back up. Now, I wanted the Leech Seed here, but I was afraid that he might go for a Substitute, and had he gone for a Substitute, I probably wouldn't have cared, because I could have just gone Swallow like I did and just go for a Boom Burst, because it does kill him through the Substitute. But because I take the rocks damage, I'm going to be killing myself to Life Orb. I would have had 2 extra Life Orb hits had I not taken the rocks damage, but then I have to lose my Swallow, and I'm going to lose the match 4-0. That misclick was huge. As I explained, Swallow did a ton of damage to everything. Despite things being worn down, it wouldn't have mattered as much because there wouldn't have been rocks. I would have been in a different position, and I probably would not have lost the Pangoro and the Venusaur. Keep that in mind as well, because I know some people are saying, well, oh, the Venusaur was dead, oh, the Pangoro was, like, dead, you know. But, again, if Pangoro was not out against the Snorlax, if it was the Donphan, what most likely would have happened was it would have been Donphan versus Snorlax. I would have gone for the Rapid Spin, and he most likely would have switched into either the Greninja, the Celebi, or the Thundurus. The Celebi and the Thundurus are both weak to Ice Shard, and I was okay at that point with sacking the Donphan. Had he gone Greninja, he would have taken a very minimal amount of Ice Shard damage and burn. Remember, I was 252 attack, so the Ice Shard would actually do quite a bit to the Thundurus, quite a bit to the Celebi, and a little bit of chip, plus the burn damage on the Greninja is still hurting. Doesn't like that damage. Okay? That, at that point, had he gone Thunderous, I would have had the damage to kill with Swallow. Had he gone Celebi, I already had the damage to kill with Swallow, and it would have like prevented him from potentially recovering, blah blah blah. Had he gone Greninja, it would have been worn down to the point where things like Venusaur could easily 1v1 it. Obviously Swallow kills it at that point. Pangoro could probably take a hit depending on what move he's running and punch back. So like it just the misclick was really bad. And obviously I can't blame my opponent because it was 100% my fault. I made the misclick. Being critical on him though, I don't think he should have sacked the Skarmory, because once I got rocks off my side of the field, because I kept my spinner and he lost his rock setter, once I kept rocks up, the game was in my favor. So I think he misplayed big time by losing the Skarmory. And then he misplayed even furthermore by switching in the Snorlax on my Swallow because it gave me a free Rapid Spin, which obviously I misclicked and didn't take the free Rapid Spin. But it just, I'm really upset with myself because I feel that this game, I either would have won like 2-0 at the end, or he would have won 1-0. I think, like, because there's no way he could have won anything higher than 1-0 if I got rid of rocks, in my opinion. Because, like, I outspeed the Thunderous with Swallow, and he was running, like, Nasty Plot, T-Bolt, HP Flying. I don't know if he had Thunder Wave or not. I would have imagined that he would have had to have a coverage move, because, like, how would he hit the Rotom? Or maybe he was just saving it for once the Rotom was down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was running like Toxic or something to hit the Rotom. I doubt it, but I don't know what the last move was. But again, I would have scouted for Water Shuriken on Greninja. I would have scouted for Prankster Thunder Wave on the Thundurus, and everything else got outsped. He revealed at this point that nothing was scarfed because he changed moves on everything except the Silvally. I don't know if he changed moves on... No, he did. He did, because he went for Multi-Attack and Parting Shot. So nothing at this point was scarfed. I outspeed everything with Swallow, and I basically killed everything with Swallow. If I was running Specs this week, I probably would have done better on my Swallow, and I wouldn't have died to Life Orb Recoil, but I still would have died to the rocks eventually if I had to scout. Had I gotten rid of rocks, game would have been totally different. I think it would have been 2-0 in my favor, or 1-0 in his favor. Depending on what the Thundurus was running. But yeah, it sucked that I misclicked. It's all my fault. I take full responsibility for it, and I'm going to be very careful in future weeks, because a 4-0 loss because of a misclick is it really bothers me. If you can't tell, it really bothers me. But yeah, it was unfortunate, but GG to Jack. I think he played well. I don't think he should have sacked Skarmory. I don't think he should have allowed me to Rapid Spin with the Snorlax. I think he should have been more offensive towards the end, predicting my U-turn. But, you know, you can't really risk whenever you have a huge threat like Swell on the field. So yeah, I understand his thought process. I'm kicking myself so much for the misclick, but it is what it is. And I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen next time. I'll see you guys on, Wednesday for the power rankings. And yeah, I'm not going to let this happen again. See you guys next time. Okay, thanks, bye.